Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Someone says, what's the future? Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are here. What are we here for? Well, that's kind of, I think, part of
that's
what
why we're here, at least in
about.
part, right?
Yeah, I think we need to figure out what this show is going to be. But we know we like talking comics. We like hanging out. And I was like, you know what? I'll be there for this.
Exactly. I think that was, it's kind of
going on, Emily?
And not only is it, there's Emily. What's up, Emily? Get some folks rolling in. Cool. Good to see you guys.
Retards. How are you doing, Ronald?
We all kind of just wanted to have a show. We wanted to talk comic books. Friday night's a good night to do it. And that's the thing, though. Like, the whole thing is the intent behind it, I think, a little bit is to be very, the most non-committal comic book stream in the comic book streaming game, where we just kind of show up. Anybody can host. Anybody kind of runs with it. You know, we just try not to stream over each other. And I think we were going to, it just kind of depends. Like, if we don't have a solid topic that we want to spend all night on, maybe we have a few topics here, try to spend a little time on them, chit chat, go over it. But I thought it would also be a good spot. I mean, obviously a place where we could go in depth on things. We could spend all night talking about creators. We could talk about tier lists. There's a lot of things we could do. But it's also maybe a good spot. Like, if we have something,
or in-depth discussion. I mean, I want to do a dedicated show to in-depth discussions, but for now, I mean, whether it's related to this or something else, there's one I've wanted to do for a while, but we can talk about that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of, I think we wanted to do a little bit of that here too. I mean, it just kind of just depends on where it takes us, and maybe whoever's hosting, or if we want to go off onto our own shows, maybe we use this show as a springboard to say, hey, I want to talk about this topic, and like get a feel for the audience, get a feel if we've got people who want to talk about it, and then, kind of pull into Last Panel over on Lap's channel, or Long Boxing on my channel, or even on your channel, Vaughn, where we just kind of like, have a long form. Maybe not everybody may not be interested in talking about Phenomenova. Not to say that we love Phenomena.
No, but you're right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Kind of like I'm what?
No, I get it. We want to talk about more stuff. I don't want to. Dude, you know what sucks? I wish I wasn't my own biggest. I wish when it was Phenomenova, when I searched it, that I wasn't 90% of the tweets talking about it. That sucks.
Well,
one day,
you're. I mean,
but I have two issues. So all things considered,
like 2 issues out there. You're about as bootstrap as it gets, man. It's kind of you and the. I mean, you have a wealth of connections most people don't have.
Yeah, I work for it. Yeah,
anything else, but you still work a 9 to 5, like the rest of us. So it's hard to be
not quite 9 to 5, but I'm working on getting one. Yeah, but I'm working on getting it. But yeah, exactly. No, doing cons has been fun. It's been a lot of work. I learned that some cons are just not good, and some are, and it's trying to figure out which ones are good, because there are ones where I'll be there. I know my sales game is good, but when there's 3 people at the con, it's kind of hard to like. There was one show I was at where I was. I'm not trying to knock it because the people were nice, but they like gave me a free table. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I show up, and I think but here's the problem though. I think like half my customers were other vendors that were bored because no one else was there.
I mean, a sale is a sale, man. But yeah, I mean.
I was like, wow.
That was most.
So whatever money we get, we barely scrape by. Whatever we got, we spent like they spent on me, I guess. So. But no, I mean I've had good shows too. It's been good. But next year I'm like trying to get to some big ones. I have some 2 that I'm locked down for that I'm very excited for. More to come. But yeah, this is exciting, guys. And I think we want to just talk stuff that's good. So I haven't been By the way, I do want to see. You know what? I'll just do this on air. Let me see how many I have left. But Global Comics, if you guys don't have Global Comics, it's great. They had me on. I'm not on the front page anymore. I think they just did a deal with Marvel, so I guess I had to get booted. But I was there for like a couple months, so I'm honestly which was a pleasant surprise. They actually got to talk to the person who runs the community at New York Comic Con. It was great. She was like, "Yeah, everyone liked your stuff, and we wanted to promote this stuff. It was already getting good traction. We wanted to just keep it going." And I was like, hell yeah.
I mean, do you get anything out of it being on there? Like,
not a ton, but I feel like if I scale up accordingly, revenue, they do it based on how much you're reading. And that's the thing. If I had like a bunch of issues on there, man.
Yep. It'd be worth a while. Though. Just got to keep your nose to the grindstone with it, man. I've got to get. Actually, it's one of the things that Laps and I joke about occasionally. I do need to get him a mailer with your book in it because we're gonna review it before MSK and I review it.
Dude, MSK I lost money. I literally lost money on him because he lost the copy. I gave him another.
We know better than that. I don't think he lost it. It's actually living underneath or inside of his couch. I think that's where most of his mail ends up.
It's propping up something. It's definitely propping up
loud.
something. Besides his
Loud?
ego.
That was loud.
Am I loud or is Lapsed loud?
Lapsed was loud.
It didn't sound loud to me. That's weird.
Did you guys did I give away all my access codes? I might have. For Global Comics.
Oh, they gave you access codes? That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I was talking about like getting MSK on there so we could actually get him back into reviewing, which he's actually good at if he reads the books.
Yeah, that would be ideal. I prefer he read my book before he reviewed it personally. You know, call me crazy.
That's the other reason. Like, I know Laps will read it. That's why I've got like actually I think.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Not to shamelessly self-plug, but I'm going to shamelessly self-plug. I have a Black Friday sale. So the books themselves, so that means it's 20% off any physical order you guys get on my website now until through December 1st, Cyber Monday. So that includes merch. That includes everything. And then if you want digital copies, instead of $5 an issue, it's $2 an issue. Sign up for my email list. And make sure you guys get there. So that's right. You can, for less than the price of what would digitally be one, for $4, you can read Phenomenova issues 1 and 2. And then if you like it, you'll be like, wow, I feel like I robbed this man. I should give him more money. Well, you're in luck because you can buy plenty of stuff for 20%. So rob me blind, guys. Rob me blind. And then if you're worried you're a backer, you're like, Vaughn, are you selling them for a lower price than you did the backers? Absolutely not, because it's only 20%, but that includes shipping. So it actually doesn't mean that you're not getting a lower cover price than the backers. So don't worry about that.
You're not putting these up on eBay for 80% off before backers get fulfilled? That's revolutionary in the indie comics game. I just want to tell you.
It's not. It's actually standard practice, believe it or not. But yeah, man. And I also want to update issue 4. Or issue 3. Sorry, my mind's always too far ahead. Issue 3. So my artist did have a delay. I'll probably make something official, but I want to. My artist's tablet broke, so we're like a week or so behind. And it looks like we're going to be a little bit behind schedule, possibly. Looks like a few weeks, but we're trying to move as fast as we can. We have less than 10 pages to go in terms of pencils and inks. And then from there, we just have to letter and get it to the printer. So we were hoping it was going to be set to go out before Christmas. Fingers crossed. I'm trying my best to get it out by the end of the year. Worst case scenario, it'll be in your hands early January, but I really wanted it out by Christmas. But if it is slightly late, I'm sorry.
No, at least that's an explanation, man. Like, when you're a small scale indie dude, like that's shit, like you lose a tablet, like there it is. It is you're not Marvel. You're not just got Disney money to mail out a new freaking com whenever something goes to shit. So yeah, but some creators bother to actually inform their customers of what's going on. And that was one of the things that Bat Sauce kind of brought up that I was gonna maybe wait for him to get here, but we'll see when he gets in because I know he wanted to.
This is volume up. I think your volume is fine.
My volume?
Oh yeah.
It's. I mean, yeah. I think I sound all right, but I'll bring it a little closer here. But one of the things he wanted to bring up was kind of Mark Millar's intro into the indie space, which he apparently wasn't paying as much attention to. But I was on top of that shit from go. I was always been excited, especially when it's him and John Romita Jr. Like, let me pull that out. So, like, and I gotta say, like, so you get your
Good team.
Let me see. I'm getting it here. So
The Soskas retweeted us, by the way. That was just cool.
Oh wow, very cool.
Right away.
This was his the first foray into it with Mark Millar and John Romita Jr. The Psychic Sam. This is like, what did he call this? Side hustle comic. So this is his. Apparently, as long as it's not part of Miller World, his contract with Netflix doesn't extend to him doing. I assume crowdfunds or something of that sort. So that's what he's been doing with whatever artists he can wrangle in. And it's been pretty interesting. Like, you got your classic Romita Jr. art style, but the story was good. I won't do a
Klaus Janson inked it too.
Anything here? Yeah, he got.
Which weren't they a Punisher team? Klaus and JRJR? They did.
They were. They were also a Spider-Man team for a minute, dude. Probably. I mean, some of my favorite. Like Romita Jr. is as iconic as his father was. Like you see his art, and you just know it's him. Like it's there's.
I have to agree. I recently got the chance actually. Oh yeah, let me look at that. Yeah, I read Psychic Sam. Did you read Psychic Sam Lapsed?
No.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I don't really read much indie stuff.
I need to read more, but I've been reading a fair amount. But yeah, I got to meet JRJR again. I've met him before at cons, but I got to actually talk to him for a bit.
That's pretty cool.
So he did there was a 9/11 thing, and he did that issue obviously. So he spoke at this event, and I came by, and then I talked to him, and it was really cool. And I didn't think to bring comics, but yeah, JRJR is awesome.
That's really cool. But yeah, it's one of I think the thing that sticks out more to me, obviously the story is good, as the art is good. I don't have any worry about that, but how he came in and he brought this air of knowing what the fuck he's doing in the indie space, which even guys like Rob Liefeld and his Notorious Kickstarter, it was impressive to see, because he came in, he kicked this one off, did a standard run on it, and by the time the same day I got a fulfillment email, he drops his tweet about the next crowdfund he's doing. He's already got it backed up, and I would imagine by the time Conquest fulfills, which is kind of an interesting sounding story, he may, who knows, he may have another one. I can't believe the scale that he's writing at right now. Everything in Miller World is pretty much him. And if you go and look at the Dark Horse rack at your local comic shop, it's Mark Millar, with 10 books, all Miller World. What is it?
Yeah, I'll confess. I think this and Vatican City were my first Mark Millar books. I've read it. I've seen adaptations of his work, but I've never actually read his work yet.
I've got Wanted somewhere. I've got
Vatican City was my first.
Yeah, Vatican City was pretty cool. That one was definitely written like he sold a movie. He already sold the movie rights when he made it or something. That's an interesting vampire story for sure. That'd be kind of cool to see in live action. But I'm impressed at the scale the guy writes at right now, and to see him kind of coming into the indie space and doing something really cool. He's putting out magazine editions along with it. It's interesting to see, and it's nice to see this contrast of a big creator, formerly of the big two of the spandex verse, who cut his teeth there, got all of his everything else there, and he kind of he steps into the indie space, and he's carrying that same kind of professional with him. If it's a Kickstarter, if it's anything else, he's still operating at that level, even though it's really kind of just him. I mean, it's him. He has Netflix money and everything else, mind you, but that's because he worked out. Okay.
I think that's another thing too, and I guess it's kind of a great thing with the indie. It's different between indie and mainstream, I guess, that professionals. It's one of the things you have to learn. Is because you go to the professional and it's you do the work, you get a paycheck, right? It's a guarantee. I'm not saying it's easy, but it is you're under contract. I'm learning bits and pieces. I'm going to have to do the reverse of what a lot of professionals are doing. Or, if I ever do mainstream work, or I've done work for hire, I'm doing some work for hire now, you do the work, you get paid, right? And you enter the indie scene, and it's not that black and white. If you're running your own company, it means you have to take the risk. It means you get more rewards. But it means you have to take the risk. I'm in the risk phase. Everything I do is a risk, I'm oh, this is guaranteed money. No, I've done stuff that's lost me some money, and I learn those lessons and I move forward. you know, and that's just it's the fact of the matter. Ladies and gentlemen, we have.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
How you doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up, guys?
It is bat sauce. I thought it
Am
might be black sauce. But
Am I too loud?
you're a little gainy for sure.
All right, I'll figure. I'll turn it down.
We
All
were
right.
actually on your topic. We decided to talk about it while you weren't here.
What
What
was
did-
the topic? Mark Millar coming in?
No, that's fine. It's just suggestions.
So loud, a lot of gain.
Yeah,
I think.
let me. Give me a sec. Give me a sec.
Why
Just
are you holding your mic exactly in your hand?
because
Rob,
I
you're
usually get that
quiet
it's
as
too
hell now.
quiet.
Well,
Right, am I-
that's the mic.
am I good like this?
I think you're
Am I
all
good
right
like this?
that. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, yeah. I mean, okay, and that's fine. They talked about Mark Millar because I am not caught up on any of his stuff. It's newsworthy, right? So this show that we're proposing, we just want to do a hangout with comics, and we're going to be talking about comic news generally, and
Yeah.
that can include multiple mediums as well, so movies as well, whatever. But not like there's any comic book movies out, anyways.
Yeah, I know. And that in of itself might be a little topic. Like, are we about to enter the longest span without a comic book based movie dropping
I hope so.
in a minute?
Dude, I haven't been
Like-
picking up.
Like even before.
I'm trying to think.
It's like even before we got to the time period where we had like Marvel Cinematic Universe, like I don't even think we've had a dry spell like this.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it makes sense to see, but yeah, I mean that was unless there is one comic book movie that I've at least been paying attention to the news. I know that Nick Weiser had Mark Millar on the other day, and he's trying to goad him about where's it at? There it is. About the movie based on King of Spies, which it's already like we know it's a movie. It was going to be a TV show. Now it's a movie. It seems, though yet unannounced, that Pierce Brosnan is set to play the King of Spies. And I won't spoil the book for anybody or anything, but I will just say the premise of the book is a very old spy, a British gentleman-like spy from the era of James Bond, realizes he's got basically 6 months to live. Cancer's going to take him out, and the world's gone to shit. He's an old man. All of these scumbags that he did business with, he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm going to kill them all. Kind of an interesting premise. I'm like, this is I'm here for seeing where this goes, and I'm.
Yeah, I think
How
he's
about
a
halfway
lot of
in?
people who don't like Mark Millar will say that he's a brilliant concept guy. Now I've only read 2 of his stories.
I would
So we'll have
recommend
to
King
see.
of Spies is a more.
I've
recent
had
one.
King's Kick-Ass the comic for a while. I just haven't
Have
read
you
it.
read it?
No.
No, you should read it. Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass was good. Kick-Ass was. It inspired a movie for a reason. That really. I think that was maybe his first or biggest foray into kind of having his own thing, getting away from the big two, and it did so damn well right away. That's why he is who he is today. Is because
Yeah.
It's kind of
springboarded him.
That's kind of what people say about him in general, though, with his comics. It's kind of a complaint that I've heard is that his comics are kind of just movie pitches. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
Even Vatican City was kind of a movie pitch, but like at the same.
well,
I
that
don't
one
think it takes away from the quality. It just makes it so it's kind of a self-contained story.
that one already had a Netflix deal when it was.
Well, it's because
Before it
doesn't
came
run
out,
it.
so.
Everything he does in Miller World, Netflix bought all of it. It's owned by Netflix. His universe is Netflix owned. The stuff he writes is Netflix basically gets first option on it. Is kind of the deal he has with Netflix for that stuff. Now, like Psychic Sam and the crowdfunding stuff that he does, there's no Netflix branding on this. There's no Netflix notification on it. It's just his. So I think his deal with Netflix doesn't extend to crowd funds. That's why he made a whole other. He called it Side Hustle Comics. So I guess that's his brand for his crowd funds.
Yeah, you got to turn up your volume a little bit.
Yeah.
Still quiet. Let me get some.
That's
gain.
you got a lot of gain. Like there's and then you.
I've got tons
Professor-
of gain. My dogs are just barking.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, I mean the reason I think he's so worth talking about is because he's actually producing. He's producing stuff that people are reading.
I really.
But I mean, I guess the only other person that's producing right now that people are reading is DC. So we can kind of slide a little bit into the absolute universe discussion right now. And and not completely get out of Mark Miller, but yeah. So I kind of wanted to talk about Absolute because it's a comic universe right now that's everyone's talking about. It's the only thing that's being produced that's good. Laps, I know that you're pretty heavily invested in the Absolute universe.
I haven't read anything up.
Yeah, me neither.
I've read a little bit. I've read the Batman and the Superman up to about a year's worth of them, and I kind of fall into Laps's category here. But I'll let you talk first, dude. This is our Ultimate Universe guy.
I mean, I don't think it's the only thing that's good, but it is the thing that people were talking about. And I think it's, for me personally, like, I'm not as opposed to alternate universes as most people, just because, like, I mean, I've been doing this for like 40 years. So when you have 90 years of continuity, there's really not much you can do different. And if you were to do this in regular continuity, people would be so angry. So I understand why they go this route, but I also understand when it gets oversaturated. I think the thing that they did that was smart with this, I'm actually very surprised with, is that they're taking their time, which is mind-blowing in today's world. The fact that they're actually taking their time with it, because I thought as soon as it started, I was like, okay, 6 issues, we're going to get this giant crossover and it's going to do whatever it normally does. But the fact that it's going on a year and they haven't, crossed over yet, it's pretty big. And
that is interesting. Yeah.
The main books are good. Like the Absolute Batman. Say what you want about the art, and Nick Dragotta. I mean, everybody already hates him for America Chavez. So.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Like he. A lot of people liked his Fantastic Four stuff, but he was one of the guys that was in the ground floor of America Chavez back in 2011. So it was like, fuck you, dude.
Well, was it his creation, or was he just the artist?
I think he was. I think he gets co-creator. You'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
I think he gets co-creator, but I know he was the artist for it. But I think he got co-creator on
Hey,
it.
Batman that kills fighting the KKK in 2025 is groundbreaking stuff, guys. Yeah, no, seriously, that is one of the things.
I mean, that was the
especially
annual.
Given recent. All right, well, annuals, okay. I mean, you got Nightcrawler's origin story in an annual.
Right, but I
haven't read Absolute Batman, by the way.
None of the stuff that was in the annuals had literally anything to do. Like, ask yourself this: you have a world that's created by Darkseid, right?
That's
what the Absolute Universe is. Why would he create racists? He hates everybody. Like, it doesn't even make sense. The whole premise falls on the ground. It makes absolutely
what do you
zero
mean
sense.
Create race? Isn't just like generally people hate each other for any reason? Not like race isn't a specific.
Yeah, everyone.
Like I can buy
the world
it.
is created in hate. That's why I don't think there would be a general population that's like, we got to co-opt this. I hate you, boy.
So
like,
this is the DC Gnostic universe, is what I'm taking from it.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, what if Darkseid was the Beyonder or some shit? And he creates a whole universe from his energy. So it's going to be kind of like a big giant pile of shitty people. And I think that I can agree with Laps on this one in the annual. Like, it didn't.
You're too quiet, man.
It didn't really seem to have anything to do with anything. And I think it was kind of in the same vein of like the Transformer that wanted to have all of the cops and Hero themselves in that one issue of what the hell was it, Red Hood, the one that got canceled. Like, it's the same, like written before a time in DC where they realized, like, we should maybe take a step back and reevaluate, especially because we're going to be bought by the Saudis in a year. And I'm surprised they let it fly. It seems kind of annoying. In all honesty, I think it brings a lot of negative attention to, like, the rest of the story in Absolute that I've read up to, I think I'm at issue 10. There isn't really any of that. Like, I'm very critical of the
I'll say this is my opinion.
Wokeness in books, and it isn't necessarily there. It is kind of an interesting take on Batman, and an interesting origin on Batman.
We'll see. It tends to start to derive into it eventually.
That's something I do notice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my whole opinion about the Absolute Universe, not really a hot take, but I'm like, at least I'm glad that it seems to be grabbing new readers, which is big.
Yeah.
The problem is it's just a gimmick. Like it's all just gimmick. What if?
Yeah, like how serious are they going
characters.
to take it in the long run? You know.
And that's not a long. Yeah, it's not a long run winning plan. Especially to the culture, right? Like it's just reinforcing dead culture. And I'm like, you need to have new thriving stories in order to have a thriving culture. You know.
Do you mean like outside of just being Batman, like something different?
Yeah, like
than
I'll be
Batman,
honest,
kind of?
like I've always had this mentality when I go and I would look in the comic shop. I'm like, oh, I'll just go back to the older stuff. Like X-Men, that's what I did. And then I tried reading the new stuff. I'm like, hey, oh, what happens?
The new X-Men. I don't.
Dude,
think
the new
there's a lot of
X-Men
people recommending
fans
at the
they're like
moment.
different, and they'll like gaslight you into saying it's not really any different from before. And I'm like, bro, I read the comics
it's not.
last week, and they'll be like, that's nostalgic talking. I'm like, dude, I wasn't even alive when these comics came out. It's nostalgia. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, I gotta say that
I finished Claremont's X-Men run finally like a couple months ago. Like what?
yeah, I would say that definitely, like, if you just got off of Claremont's X-Men run, you don't want to read today's stuff, but maybe pull yourself back to the Onslaught era in the mid to late 90s. Some of them, maybe some of. I'm trying to think of another spot, like the stuff that came a little later, like just after Onslaught. Like, check out like Operation Zero Tolerance, think highly underrated crossover. Bastion, I think, is a highly underrated villain in the X-Men universe.
Yeah, I mean he was great in X-Men '97, and I knew nothing about him.
Dude, his
Bastion's
premiere
great.
where he takes the stage there and what they end up doing with him is very interesting. It's probably the most interesting thing they'd ever done with Sentinels since Sentinels existed. Like, you took a kind of mindless robot that didn't mean anything so much other than kind of a troop to destroy. It's just something to watch Beast smash and Wolverine cut through and Cyclops blow up into like this. It gave it some sort of human element to it, something more visceral, like with it, something more threatening and concerning. I liked the Prime Sentinels. I liked what they did with Bastion the whole way around, and all the stuff that they did to kind of build the story made for a good villain. That would be somewhere else to jump in, I think, when it comes to like post Claremont. You're gonna want something maybe not today, but I still don't think there's a lot of people clamoring for today X-Men. Marvel is not there. Like Batsaw said, I think that DC
Is that a Kino
is a little bit more in the
reference?
spot where people
Yeah.
are interested in what's going on. Like even moving away from, like, I know Laps really likes Absolute Batman. I liked Absolute Superman a lot. I think that is a pretty engaging
I
story.
like
with what
him.
they have
I like
going on
Absolute
there.
Superman a lot more than I like Absolute Batman.
Oh, really? I thought you liked.
I just don't think that the take on Absolute Batman is as ridiculous as people think. When I'm missing like 2 years of Batman comics. I've read pretty much fucking everything, and I could show
2
you.
years.
I could show. I'm missing about 2 years of comics. Yeah, I'm actually on the look for them right now.
Yeah, it sounds like the
Dude,
most
I gotta
vital
go
2
back
years,
to-
actually. So
Yeah.
What's that?
I said it sounds like the most vital 2
Yeah,
years. I'm fucking on.
1986.
No, I'm just saying it's
I'm
not
kidding.
the worst take I've seen or read. That's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
Well, that's not an endorsement saying it's not the worst thing, but I know what you mean.
But it's not
to me,
terrible.
when they described it, I'm like, Batman, like his parents are still alive, right?
No, his mom's alive.
His mom is still. That was one thing I was saying. Like, this Absolute Batman, even though it's supposed to be Darkseid's
I
kind
mean,
of
the
shittier
thing is though,
universe.
what would you do different for Batman? That's the thing. Like, what would you
okay,
do
let
different?
me.
Not.
But hey, let
So
me ask a
you would keep
question.
like his backstory the same.
I would just not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have
Dude, I
to,
could think
they
of
had
like
to do
20,
something.
I could
Nothing
think of
was
like
selling.
20 Batman.
Nothing was selling, and that's
stories.
not saying that that's a great.
Okay, but this is, and I guess this is where things won't do anything different. Well, this is the thing is I think, and it was, even though a lot of the best things that came out of the comic industry echoed from Claremont's on, a lot of the worst too, like starting X-Men from #1, right? Good in the short term, but like even me, I don't read a lot of stuff that's on the shelf because I'm like, oh, what if I'm in the middle of a storyline, blah 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 blah. And I think it started a habit of people that's ultimately going to be detrimental in a lot of ways. Like one thing I like actually is at cons there are people like because issue 1 is more expensive, 2 is cheaper, but I had 2 is of my book is new reader friendly. And I've actually had a few people that are strapped just get issue 2. And I think that's good. And I think another thing that we have in this market that we should talk about, things like global comics, I think, and it could be great because basically a lot of the new stuff, Marvel's on there, DC's on there, there's a lot of manga on there. People can do their comic shopping on there, and the indies are often you could find just as easily as the mainstream stuff. Maybe most of the mainstream, and I'm going to call Image is mostly mainstream. All right, like it is.
Yeah,
it's not really indie.
It's like it's
legally, but it's like
independent creatives, but they are Images like the main. It's like Dark Horse. It's like the mainstream face of indie comics.
Yeah,
like, But you still have a lot of, and this is another discussion we could have someday is like was Image Comics a net benefit or a net detriment to the entirety of comics because of the raw amount of schlop that comes.
I would say it was a net positive, but we learned that like when you try anything new, there's going to be massive mistakes, right? You can't just get like, okay, you could argue how many times like are we going to pretend like everything that came out of Crisis was good? Crisis was overall a net good, but like let's not get like Power Girl, what they did with her, where they were like, oh, she's from Atlantis, she's from like they didn't know what the fuck to do with the character. Like that's not good.
They just needed to give her a bigger boob window. I think that's all that Power Girl needs. There's nothing more to do there.
Yeah, I don't want to get too. Well, I was bringing it back to the absolute Batman. What would we do differently, right? And I you're gonna constantly hear me bring up manga in comparison, right? Where it's just like, well, okay, what if you got Batman but his mom survives? It's like, well, we got like a completely different character, so why not just do a completely new character, new universe? It's like, well, that's scary. It's not reliable. We don't know if it's gonna sell. It's like, well, for sure. A lot of these things end up failing anyways. So why not just do something like manga is, and then you have a chance of a new IP flourishing.
I agree with you
it's
there.
Like
they definitely
crazy.
need to do new IPs, 100%.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean that's what I'm kind of saying. Like they've taken zero risk in the mainline story. You just get bad writer after bad writer. That's what it's been for so long. And whenever you do something else, it's like they're not going to go out and create a brand new character. They very rarely do. So like if they're going to do something, and I'm not saying that's a glowing endorsement for it. That's not what I'm saying. People are going to read what they want to read regardless. It's just like what I'm saying is if they're going to do something with both universes, this isn't the worst possible way to do it. It's not the worst thing. But you really think that they're just like DC's not going to go out and create new characters?
No, I know. I'd be so much more for it if they also had
so
a
would I.
flourishing.
I think it would be awesome.
I will say I do think we're just under a decade away from actually seeing that a little bit. When Superman and Batman hit public domain, which it seems they're on a terminal track to do, barring some sort of bullshittery and Disney-esque IP fuckery, they're going to hit public domain, at least the Golden Age versions of them, which is more than enough, in all honesty, for some people. We might actually
think so.
You don't think people are going to approach these characters?
Enough. No, I don't think. All right, so let me ask you, because what's going to happen is one of the things that is so cool about Batman is his intricate rogues and lore and the multiple Robins and all of that history. And I'm sorry, Batman on his own is fine, but so much of what is great about Batman came out after his beginning. Now, I need to read the original Batman, first.
There's 13 issues of Detective Comics before Joker came out. And then the first main villain that he had,
was Dr. Death, right?
Well, it was Hugo Strange.
I thought Dr. Death predated Hugo Strange.
Well, he was the monk first. He was the monk that turned people into werewolves and vampires, who had Batman's first to-be wife turned into one of them, and then Batman goes up to their coffins while they're sleeping and shoots them in the face.
Damn, I need a reprint of that issue.
That
sounds badass.
Golden Age Batman is not the same character, totally different. I think a lot of
shouldn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the
it's
no kill
totally
rule, and this is an argument I've heard. Now I haven't watched Razorfist's full video, but he'll be like, Batman was a knockoff of the Shadow. Also, we should take away the one thing that makes Batman different from the Shadow, which is that he doesn't kill. And I'm like, all right, that's to me.
Well, a lot of
Don't
heroes
like a
have
lot of
adopted
what
that rule
Razor
since then.
Fist says, but I'm in total agreement about the no kill rule being retarded.
Yeah,
It's integral to the character, whether you agree
I
with
think
it or
there
not.
Well,
was
no,
a point
it's more about thinking about the no kill rule is just stupid to put in, like, the philosophy, like he has to, like, as a character deal with, like, no, I can't kill. It's like, no, just don't have him kill in the story. Don't have the character actually
Too much. I think it's too much
struggle with
elimination.
it.
Well,
it's because
I
it's
think
like
his
the
reasoning
no.
for it is stupid. Like, if I do it once, I will become this psychotic, crazy killer. It's like,
Well, yeah, because it's like, well, he can kill in
Well,
self
the
defense.
thing
He'll be
is, you
fine.
say that, but the fans will be like, aha, he killed this one
Okay,
guy
so
kind
just-
of in 1938, therefore he can shoot people in the face. And I'm like,
But they
that's not
act like
fucking-
it's impossible to write a story where he just doesn't kill anyone.
I
in
agree.
It,
They make too
and
much
never
of it.
mentions the fact that he has a policy on not killing. Like, you just
What-
never mention that.
What it is to me is they it's a bunch. I used to do this when I was little, and then I remember when I have people in my house, they want to go, how far can I push the boundary? Instead of just saying, hey, Batman doesn't kill, it's, well, why not? Well, did it this time? And it'll be like a 1938, or it'll be like something that's not even canon. Or like the examples they point to are like so minute, and I'm like, across hundreds of appearances, you can scrape through a lot of
I'm
that.
just taking taking an educated guess. I'm assuming the rule came up because they wanted it to be more appealing to younger kids and not have to worry about parents getting upset. So they're just like, hey, Batman doesn't kill. And it wasn't
did
supposed to
that
be
with
like
Spider-Man,
something
too, I
that he
remember.
philosophically struggles with.
Yeah, I mean that would be something more. And one thing I think it does is it removes the stakes immediately from a story. Like, could Batman be pushed to kill? Like, if you've got this in place editorially, it kind of removes that from that. Like, he's never going to go to that length. Like, the Joker he could catch the Joker in the middle of graping Batgirl or something and murdering a frickin' Robin at the same time, and it's like, he's just gonna there's scenarios and I think one of the other things, if you think about it really, is if you think it all the way through to the end of the logical and moral conclusions, at what point is Batman responsible for the people Joker kills?
Right.
Where does the line or the number of times you've tried to put him through therapy and send him to Arkham and all the fucked up shit he even does while he's in Arkham? Like, at what point is it evident that a soul is lost and there is no?
Well, that's why it just gets so convoluted and stupid.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't care.
Well,
and then you get edgy
they make so
Zack
many
Snyder
weird
being
loops out
like,
of it,
ooh,
too,
what
yeah.
if they do it as Batman that does kill? Like, I'm going to push boundaries. And it's just like, no, it just stop. Just stop, please. And I don't know. It's so annoying that it's become a talking point every time he's in a movie. Like, just, it's annoying. I would rather watch Batman struggle with different issues than the no-kill rule.
Like the villains.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not a huge, and I think there are some I think, because I go on and I'm like, well, what if I wanted to create new characters? And, you look at, because I don't want to just be that old person who's like, everything new is bad. But I'll be honest in saying I kind of stopped reading a lot of mainstream stuff, and I don't know when to get in. And I often wait for number one, and maybe I shouldn't, or I say I'll get in the trade, and often I should really just pick stuff up. Like, I picked up a few Green Lantern issues, and I did like them. I think, and I haven't read all of Jeff Johns' stuff yet, but I liked what I read. And some of the newer characters, I'm like Simon Baz. I'm like, oh, I actually like this guy. I think one of the things is telling engaging stories is good in terms of getting new readers. I think the problem with like the Absolute universe is people are like, oh, this is amazing. And I don't see it as anything other than, and I've never read it for the record, but just from the concept as a flash. I really don't.
Yeah.
I think
You cut out. What'd you say?
I don't see it as much else than a flash in the pan.
Flash in the pan, yeah. That's what I said.
I think because of the way the Ultimate Universe turned out for Marvel. Now, here's a flip side of it. the fan base would love to see happen in the mainstream exactly what just happened in Ultimate. We've wanted Spider-Man fans have wanted Peter and Mary Jane to like have some vague form of happily ever after, and Jonathan Hickman went out and proved that in an alternate universe, one, editorial wasn't paying attention, and two, he can write a compelling story with Peter Parker being Spider-Man and a father, and it added dimensions to Peter Parker's character that I've never read before, like concepts and stories and thoughts that go on with Peter there. Like, it's finally, you're done with Peter Parker, the dipshit who can never get his life together and is the opposite of an inspiring man, yet an inspiring hero. And you get him being inspiring in all aspects. Like, you can see a Peter Parker, and this is me speaking as a father, so it's a little different, maybe it hits different for me, but I think that people could resonate with that Peter Parker as well. Like, he's a good man, he's a good dad, he's a good husband, and he's out there being Spider-Man, and it's like he's an all-around like good guy, and he's not like just a failure at life and good at being Spider-Man. Like, Peter Parker was an inspiration.
Well, they got Peter Parker right, because for a while there wasn't even as much Spider-Man in the Ultimate Spider-Man comic. It was a lot just about Peter, which was great too. It was awesome.
Yeah. And so many fans,
it was refreshing.
It was refreshing, yeah. So many fans would love to see that going on in the mainstream, but it's dead after 24 issues, and Marvel couldn't care less. Like, Hickman was done, and they don't want to carry on, because editorial didn't want that at all, and the fact that it outsold their main book kind of probably pissed them off. But so yeah, from an alternate universe standpoint, that's something that, like, a very different story, because we never got to see that. But it's something that could be, they could pull what's going on there into the mainstream in a heartbeat, and Amazing Spider-Man, Undoing One More Day would be probably the highest selling Amazing Spider-Man in 20, 30 years. But
Batman didn't work when he killed pre-1940.
None of us are saying that he should kill people, though.
Not writ large or anything, but
no one is saying we should.
We're saying you have the no-kill rule, but don't have
you don't have
Batman
to constantly have him ruminating
rule.
over it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have him thinking on it all the time, and you can have it, but...
Well, here's the thing. It normally doesn't. It's someone else comes in that's like a surrogate for the writer or these people, and it's like, we've heard this argument. They did this in Nightfall in the 90s, where they had
Azrael Valley,
yeah. We've already done this.
Well,
but Zack Snyder doesn't know.
Yeah, he definitely went a little bit psycho, though.
Well, he was like the whole spirit of Azrael and all that.
Yeah, I need to read
underrated
Nightfall,
costume,
too.
dude. Azrael's costume in the late 90s was
too,
fucking cool.
Isn't that movie coming out?
You're not off base though, Vaughn. You're correct.
Well, Denny O'Neil brought him in. Like, even Graham was telling me that was their whole thing, is they were like, we want more edgy 90s stuff, like the Image characters. And like, okay, here's your Image Batman. And all the readers, they actually had to end that storyline faster, because the readers were like, we want Batman back. We don't like this. So they actually had to speed up that storyline. Graham told me that.
Yeah.
And that was Denny O'Neil's response. So it's like, here's what you want. The problem is the fans today, and now I still need to read Nightfall. I want to read like all 90s Batman. I keep putting it off because I'm too busy grading. But I think
we're supposed to be reading Teen Titans.
Yeah, we do need to read. I'm going to finish Invincible and read New Teen Titans, and we'll that's another thing. We're gonna go through New Teen Titans. We can go volume by volume on it, and that is on Global Comics.
That could be something if the Comics Crusade crew, if we want to all join in that read, and we can make
I
that
can
part
reread
of
it.
That's in my Labs library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
the new
if
Teen
you've got that
Titans,
in the
right,
library, lapsed by all means. Did you upload a bunch today?
It's already. I didn't want to do it before this. I didn't know how long it would take. There's like 70 gigs of Kyle Rayner, of just that.
I'm down with it.
So
I'm fine. Yeah, Laps and I have been reading and reviewing the Kyle Rayner compendium, kind of his intro to the universe. When he came in and everything, it's refreshing. Like, God, I miss that era so much, dude. I like getting some of these compendiums they've dropped. Like, I've got the Chuck Dixon Robin compendium, Tim Drake compendium 1. That might be the next one I jump into, because that's an era of
it's fun too. Gotham era.
Yeah, that too.
Dude,
I think we should
We'll
take
come
this
up
time
with
and just jump into the, like, because we plan on doing every time
We
we do
should
the show.
commit to doing it. Yeah.
We're doing a segment of what we're currently reading, or like what we're
Yes.
about to read or something like that, or just read. So Vaughn, what about you? I know you're busy with your comics.
No, it's okay. I've tried to do some reading. I've just read Last Ronin 2. I got the chance to. I was at Granite State Comic Con. Actually, he said he might come on a show. I need to go back to doing interviews, but Tom Waltz, I talked to him and I asked him about. Have you guys read TMNT The Last Ronin?
No.
Yes, I have the hardback
Oh, yeah.
collected
Mhm.
edition.
So when they had
I
put Last
loved it.
Ronin 2 out, I was like, what? And then I had read, I loved Lost Years. And then I had asked him about it. I'm like, hey, I was talking about his process. I'm like, so Last Ronin 2, I'm like, were you excited to do that? He was like, yeah, it was great that I got to do this. And I'm like, because I have to be honest with you, like when I first saw it, I was blunt. I was like, I was like, oh, this is just cash grab. I don't get it. He goes, no, I was excited to do this series. And the way he described it to me was he was like, it was almost like an end joke that they had those 4 new turtles,
Mhm.
And he was like, then they were like, you need
Yeah.
something out fast. And he's like, we told the story. And they're like, well, think of something because this is selling like crazy. And they go, all right, Lost Years. What did Michelangelo do? And what did Last One do over
In
there?
between,
And
right.
And they were like,
Yeah.
all right, we have a special you got to do. And he just was like, they just would pound it out. And I think
I need to read Lost
it's
Years.
going to
I
be a
have that,
trilogy.
like sitting beside
It's
me.
good. It's really good. It's
I
comparable
have
to
the
Last
hardcover.
Ronin.
I really that's pretty high praise because Last Ronin was like Last Ronin got me so geared up for Turtles, and I still haven't gotten into it, but I know that like the
I need to read
IDW Turtles for like
run. Same.
the first 5 or 6 volumes of it are like fucking gold. So
From
that's
what
on my
I've heard,
very
the
short
100
list once
issues.
I get some more stuff read.
We should come up
I have
with like
the first
lists and
9
go through it.
volumes, and I haven't gotten the 10th, but it's pretty freaking good.
And I think that's one of the things is
I
there
need
is
to-
stuff to read. Like I have long runs I want to read, a bunch of them, and I should try and finish some. But here are IDW's TMNT, and I think it's tough knowing what the runs are, and that's why as an indie, it is hard to stand out, and people equate volume, but I think people want that bite-sized thing to come in before they commit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know because then you'll say that, and then look at how big One Piece is. All you need is that
yeah.
one person to buy everything.
It's because there's a shit like this is the thing. It's just Japan's. They're not changing the way they do anything, which is sometimes works against them. But like they figured out a way to sell their comics, and it's by the animes. The main purpose of anime is to sell the comics. That's why a lot of shows there's only a season 1 because they really only care to sell the comic. Now, if it's popular enough to get a season 2, obviously they'll keep doing it. But all of those shows, those episodes, are just bringing more sales to the comics because they're
it's
they're the same thing. And plus, also people just get to the point where they're like, I can't wait. I have to find out the story, so they go to the comics, which has happened to me a crap ton. Which got me into reading
that
manga
happened to
in
me
the first
when I was a
place.
kid. Like, I mean, this is something that American creatives had this for a minute. X-Men and Spider-Man and Batman animated series, absolutely. It's funny. Those cartoons helped comics. That brought readers in. I mean, the
The
only reason my
animated
dad ended up
series
getting
helped me read comics.
Yeah,
Animated
it helped me
series.
get into comics helped me read better. I fucking hated reading. Still not a big fan, but I force myself through a novel now and again. But those animated series absolutely brought people in. Like it introduced you to Spider-Man, Superman, Batman, and all of the the Flash and Green Lantern characters you didn't know about. But in the X-Men, I mean, that wasn't exactly true to Jim Lee's thing, but you kind of like you'd see these characters standing on a comic book store shelf, or more often than not for me was I saw it on a grocery store end cap, which it's still one of the greatest crimes that comics has ever committed on itself, is taking itself out of end caps in grocery stores and fucking convenience stores and shit. Like if they were still there, they wouldn't have the problem with young readers that they do. And not even it's not even just, well, it is young readers, but in the way that it is for young readers. Like young readers don't see Superman and Spider-Man. Young readers, if they go into a comic book shop with dad, they're like, oh, Sonic the Hedgehog, and they're over there getting Sonic.
Yeah.
Like every time I talk to my guy at the comic book shop, and I get my two issues of Sonic every month that come out with both covers for my sons. He's like, dude, I had to up another 5 of these. I keep selling out. Like, he's like, make sure that he always tells me, make sure they're putting them up and don't let them just keep them because those always go up in value. Those back issues are always selling. It's like, all right, I'll put them away, man. But
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
kids aren't seeing Superman and Batman, Spider-Man. They're not seeing the big IPs. Like,
no, definitely.
what are
But
kids going to be into?
we can get back to because this is going to be a topic we're going to keep bringing up. We're going to keep talking
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we
about.
should make a list too of like comics we want to go through for this. I mean, so I want to finish up Invincible, that series, and then I want to get through back through New Teen Titans. I think I'll make those my top priority. I'm always like, there are multiple series that I never finished. I'm very ADHD, so I have like this run of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of them you can stop at certain points and you can pick up, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know,
I'm such an Invincible hater. I'm like the only one too.
I like the
I want
comics.
to read the comic. I haven't read it yet. It's on a compendium's on my list there somewhere, but probably after TMNT.
Yeah, I got through because in Global Comics again it's there. That's how I've been reading it, and then I'll probably get it after. I got through what is probably going to go down as one of my favorite comic storylines ever from it. And then afterwards, it was a moment where I'm like, this is mega cringe. If you've read it, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm hoping it picks back up from it. But I will say, first 70-something issues through the Viltrumite War, pretty good. Like, pretty good. You know, I like it. But here's the thing. I'm trying to think. So if like we're talking the best runs, I think what is consistently every single issue is a banger. Is Frank Miller's Daredevil run and his life.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Every single thing in here is great, all of it. And that's the thing. We could go through so many classic stories, and there's so many classics I haven't touched on. And with all that being the case, people might ask, why the new stuff? Why do we need everything constantly going? There's too many titles to pick up on. What is, and I guess ultimately what it comes down to when it comes to the future of the comic book industry is we need new IPs to get caught up on. And I think the problem is
Most people only consume new. Like,
you think that's true? Because
yes, it's 100% true.
When I first got into comics, I was reading older stuff.
But it's not everyone. I mean, well, you got to look at it this way. I mean, it's at a point where it's really bad because like part of what was keeping the MCU going is that like people just showing up to the theaters because they wanted to be a part of that moment. They didn't care about anything about it. They cared about being a part of the moment. Obviously, that's not everyone going, but there's just people that want new and they only care about new. And no matter how much you preach at them about like, well, there's all this other good stuff that you could read, doesn't matter. Like, you know, Plato exists for philosophy, but not everyone's going to go back and read it. They're going to watch YouTube videos of people talking about Plato because it's new and up to date.
For how many people I know that were like when I was told I need to write something Lovecraftian for a friend, I decided instead of, if I was younger, maybe I would have watched videos on it, but I'm like, I'm going to read a lot of his stuff. And then when there was a top 10 list, I'd read it, or whether it's audiobooks. I also have the physical books. My collection is back there, you know, and it was like, I think, and then I meet so many people like now that I'm into it that I'll be like, oh, nice Cthulhu. Like, oh, I don't actually read any of it. I just think he looks cool. Or like, I'll know people that like will create Lovecraftian related comics, and they can't even tell me like their favorite story in it. So I'm like, have you read any?
Yeah, they like Lovecraft because they hear people say Lovecraft.
His tentacles.
Cool.
Yeah,
tentacles.
Yeah, they hear people.
I play
say
Dungeons
cool,
and
they want
Dragons.
to be a part of it. Yeah.
Well,
People are gay like that.
That's bandwagoning, and sometimes sometimes it's nice if it's for. This is like, you know, people the argument, or maybe not an argument, but kind of the discussion around gatekeeping, especially with comics and fandoms in general. That like, you know, the bandwagoners, do they make it better? Do they bring more people in, or do they just cause problems within it and maybe confuse, especially like industries, especially with with social media these days? Do places like Marvel and DC get confused as to what their customer base is actually going to vibe with? Like, I don't think the consumer base for Ultimate or for Absolute Batman vibed with what Daniel Warren Johnson, both the Twitter thing he put out and the book he put out for the annual. I don't think people actually vibed with that, and I think it was at a detriment to the overall story. Like, if I was Scott Snyder and Daniel Drago working on that book, I'd be like, oh, fuck, why did you do this? Like, I'd be talking to DC editorial like, guys, like, could you give us
a little more warning next time. Like we're trying to do something over here as professional creators, and this guy's over here selling some shit that doesn't help us. Like we were on a roll, and now people are going to look at our book as if it's something that it isn't.
So
You know,
the crap was I was gonna say bandwagoning. It's good till it's
Yes.
not, right?
Yeah.
It's like most things. It's like you need those people that are more zealous or being kind of blind faith followers, right? Because they'll get people to come in more than the stingy purist, and it's good because it brings in actual readers, actual fans, until it doesn't, right? Because eventually it attracts.
Yeah. There is a
people,
break even
that don't
point
care.
on the bandwagoners and the people who are more interested in kind of seeming cool to whatever clique they happen to be vibing with, versus people who are actually
MCU,
interested in the movie or in the medium itself. Like people who even read you always see the people commenting on X all the time. They have their hot take on a comic book character or something else, and I'm like, I can tell when they've just gone to Wikipedia and looked it up. You can take
I
the
used
quote,
to do
fucking
that,
look it up
yeah.
on Wikipedia.
Yeah, we know.
See,
that.
Von Coleman, the worst example.
I'm kidding.
He's young. See, sorry, audience. Von Coleman is 16, and he's still got a lot to learn about comics. He's getting there, though. We're really proud of the little guy.
No, I mean, to be fair though, most of my comic knowledge comes from YouTube videos.
That's fine.
I've been watching lore videos because I love lore videos. Even like the Warhammer universe, I've read very few Warhammer books, but I know a lot about the lore. It's super interesting. Same with comics. I've been watching like YouTube lore videos. They've kind of died out, and or maybe they're still alive. I just not my algorithm anymore, but.
Maybe that's.
I
something
find
we
it
should
really
do at some
interesting,
point.
but and also
A lore
part of that
discussion.
problem is that, and Global Comics is helping with this big time. But getting the book, like I don't want to find a collector. I just want to consume the story, But it's again, it's just like, what book do I need to go to? What do I need to find? Like the way that the older comics were set up, especially, it's just so confusing, and every single little barrier you put in between getting the person into that story is just a detriment. It's obviously I think we're seeing a reflection of that now.
Like you say, I think Global Comics is kind of a good bridge for that. It makes for an interesting point to bring people into the comics, and I think that's, in all honesty, I agree with you a bit on the lore videos. That would be actually an interesting, like a lore conversation to have.
Probably
someday.
makes it easier to read them too, because like in the '80s, you had to if you were getting subscriptions, you had to pick do you want Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, or as I had to get Web of Spider-Man because I had no money, but you had to pick between all those things, and sometimes the stories ran into other books and you didn't know. That was that was always hard to follow.
That was
so
a
you're
hard
right;
thing
it
about
was very
newsstand.
hard to follow those things.
And I mean, that's where comic stores, I think, really did bridge the gap. I think it was, but that's the thing. Like, I remember I first got into comics. It was newsstand shit. Like, I saw the second, Onslaught Impact for Amazing Spider-Man. It was one of the first books I bought for myself. My dad had bought me, my first comic ever that I got was Jim Starlin's Silver Surfer Warlock Resurrection. My dad got that for me. My parents would give me comics and things. My dad was a big Silver Surfer fan. So but the first book I bought with like money I had in my freaking pocket, and I remember exactly where I was. It was where was it called? It was Cortez, Colorado. And I was in a grocery store there. I don't even remember what the grocery store was called, but I remember like sitting there flipping through. They had an end cap at the end of an aisle, comic books the whole way through. One half DC, one Marvel. I'm sitting there and they got Spider-Man and the Onslaught Impact issue 2, and I picked it up and I read it. And maybe it's me, but this is the one thing that I really think people, if you're looking to get into comics, I think you just dive in. It doesn't matter where you are or what it is. Like, you show up in the middle of a story. Today, you can go to a comic book. It isn't always a good idea. Well,
it's a terrible idea.
People say that, but I would also.
I don't think that it is, though.
Not doing it, but I've read a few issues of Green Lantern that just sporadically, and I've had fun, and then it makes me go back sometimes. So
that's what
think
I'm saying.
I need to do that more. The problem is that And I think like okay, the problem is that I
Well,
think
you don't have an issue with people just diving in. It's either they get issue 1 or issue 2 with your book, right? But even when you get more, but it's just
well,
like
here's my point though.
just jump
Claremont,
into DC. It's like, okay, which one? Like
but if you
issue.
look at Claremont, the way they would write back then was every issue was someone's first issue. Every
Yeah.
issue. Now
That's
it is
why you had the
best if you start
footnotes.
with if it was best we start with Giant Size #1. Now, granted, they still have that in some thing today. I think there are a lot of problems. I think ultimately, we want to see the DC characters who let us succeed, and I think there is some good stuff. The fact of the matter is, you can never read everything, right? And there's more entertainment out there. I think, I actually think like that YouTube videos and stuff helped me get into comics. I think that's great.
Absolutely,
It's a great funnel. I think the problem, and I think we're still doing that in a way today. I think the market is changing. The internet is huge, and something like Global Comics, I think, is great, and needs to be bigger.
I think that's where more people will find their way now. Is in that, like I was saying, like even though I came in the middle of like the fucking Onslaught story, in the middle of the Spider-Man story with Ben Reilly and Peter Parker, what it did do is I was interested in the character enough to pick it up. It helped me be interested enough in the character to I went back, I started going off and buying the whole Onslaught crossover, figuring out what was going on.
Yeah, but you picked a good one.
Talking to people at the shops and
It sounds like you picked like a decent one, right? Whereas it's like, hey, go just to
that's
dive
what I'm
into
saying.
it, and then they pick up like some '90s comic, and they're just like, "What is this?" And then they're just like, "Okay, never touching this again."
So that's the thing, though. And that's why I think that it was important for for grocery stores to still have those, because grocery stores didn't deal in the weird shit that we see on the shelves today. They dealt in it was Spider-Man. It was like you're getting at least a mainstream character that people are going to. There's already going to be kind of a built-in interest. You watch the cartoon, like the X-Men issues they had there. Oh, X-Men's over here, and here's this weird dude. He looks like Magneto but Hulk, or roided out Magneto. Like, what the hell is this guy? And like, you see it, you get kind of interested in it. You look through some of the footnotes, and that was what kind of started me off. As I went through the footnotes in that issue of Spider-Man, I'm like, oh, I need to go. Well, first I need to go get the issue before this. So I go over to Atomic Comics. I'm like, I'm looking for this, and you talk to the people in the store because you don't know where the hell you're going. They'll point you in a direction.
That's
like,
hard,
actually,
though, man. That's hard nowadays. But I know what you're saying.
It
Back
is
when
nowadays.
when you were doing it,
yes.
yes.
Exactly, but like today, Global Comics would be that. It's going to facilitate finding that kind
with
of
what
thing.
with what you spoke on though. Like, does everybody have that guy, or because that's how I've told this story many times. My first comic that I bought was in 1985. It was Starman. After the invasion,
Yeah, Starman.
It was. It was
No,
Starman.
I have no idea.
Because it was 5 cents.
Yeah, I don't know who Starman is.
It was 5 cents, and I was 10 years old, so I was like, oh, cool. Like, this is, the art looked cool, but there was, guys in there like, hey, if you want to read something, try this out, or try, I don't know if there's that left when you get to the digital space, so you have to maybe use, like you guys said, the YouTube videos and stuff,
right,
like that,
and
maybe find what you like.
Well, that could work really great too, because then they just need a subscription to one platform.
Right, exactly.
And they got a huge library. Whereas, like,
Yeah.
because obviously I had comics before, like when I was young, but not many, because my mom was always trying to tell her what to buy me. Good luck. I didn't know. So, but like when the YouTube videos they suggest one, it's like, okay, I'll go look it up, and it's just like, all right, $10 for like 20 pages. I'm like, yeah, I don't have the money to invest into a full arc,
That's
and like
the
I don't.
tough part, yeah.
And so it's just like, it's different for the indie world, where it's just like you're expected to pay for. I forgot what it's a different type of market, but like when you're Marvel and DC and you have a library of thousands of comics and stories, you can't afford to have your customers paying like $10 for such a short piece.
And that's where,
Today,
almost
they charge you $5 an issue, man. It is considerably less affordable. Like, the inflation on comics over the years, like, it's moved it out of being something that like was not necessarily difficult for a kid to get into. Because I got into it when I got into it, they were a buck or less, 75 cents to a buck. That
Well,
was like you could find 3/4 in the couch.
It might have been more because when I first started in 1986, when I first new comics were $1.25. That's how much they were, like
They
new
stayed
Marvel
that way for a long time though too.
And I remember whenever they moved up a little bit, because I wasn't getting like the the better comics at that point in time because I just didn't have the money. But it just depends on, like, I agree with you, like that makes perfect sense because you can't expect people today to expound that amount of money for one not knowing what they're getting, but also two not getting the full story. Where you talk about going on Global Comics, you can go through there for a set price and read whatever you want if it's on there.
So like the indie market is the I think it's called boutique market, right?
Boutique,
so it's just right. So
Yeah.
DC and Marvel are not that, and they're like selling their books like as if they're boutique items, but it's like, no, dude, you're the mass market. Like,
well, even then, and this is the tough thing I have to struggle with is like even charging $5 for 2 issues, that's $10 catch up, and that's why right now, like I'm experimenting, but I'm also with this. It's right now it's $2 per digital just for this month. I probably won't be able to keep it for now, but I mean, I would love to just. People want investment. They want to get lost in something. And I think there's so many things to get lost in, past, present, you name it. And I think
well, like I said, you're the indie world's the boutique market. Like nobody's making no 100,000 subscribed channels making a lore video on Phenomenova. Yeah, no. Right? So it's just like they're doing that for Marvel and DC. So it's,
and to be honest, there's not enough material to get that kind of material where you could do that.
Yeah, you gotta have a rich
volume.
History. Vaughn will be lapsed age by the time he's got.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up! You with my age thing, just Jesus Christ! I'm sorry. What do you want? I can't help when my parents.
I'll be honest. Like I'm throwing this idea around. I've considered going majority digital for a bit, although I do have offers to get into stores and stuff. I'm thinking about my possible options. Digital, like
you need to you like I said with the boutique market, I don't think that it's going 100% digital is a path.
But I don't think 100%, but I'm talking like new releases, like because here's the thing: let me ask you a question. When you read a new chapter of a manga you like, how do you read it?
Well, I don't pay for manga.
I mean, I have a Crunchyroll subscription, so if I'm reading manga, I'm gonna go.
I can tell you this
over there,
Vaughn. If you have like for me personally, if you have something that I want to read, I will always buy physical. But that's just me.
What if it's $10 an issue?
Please don't get into money. I don't want to explain this. Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, well, no, that's good. That's good.
Me personally, I don't care.
So here's what I would.
But that's not everybody. That's not everybody, though. But like saying people like me, it doesn't matter. Like I don't care. As long as I like it.
You'll get fans like that, but I think it's just you need to entice people to get the physical. But what is going to be different besides having the physical book than the digital? It's like you had to do a little bit extra. But I don't know. Let's. We got way off topic with the what we were reading.
I think we were.
We can go back to that, but
we definitely got into what we were reading a bit there.
Laps. What are you?
And why
are you reading right now?
Out of the new stuff, I'm reading the Absolute books. I'm working on. I'm missing, like I said, I'm getting my comic book collection appraised right now, so. I'll know exactly what I'm missing. Like I just got all the Claremont stuff, so that I'm very happy about that. But I'm reading Space Ghost, which I thought was fun. that's the only I guess indie book I guess I'm reading. I just don't know enough about the indie space. That was just never
it's
my
really
thing.
It's really gay for the most part, so I don't recommend it.
It's not for the most part, actually. It's just a few really loud people that won't stop.
I just don't know enough about it.
No, most indie people are cool.
Like the only indie book that I have a buddy named Chris Stevens. He wrote a couple of books. Like one was called Once Upon a Time Machine. Did stuff with Scott Collins and a couple of other guys. I just don't know enough.
Well, again, Global Comics. There's indie books on Global Comics.
Well, then I might just do that.
Yeah, and then that's because it again, it's, you know, the indie crowd and the people who invest in the crowd are, you know, different type of person almost, right? And again, you're not, you can convince them to buy an indie product because that's what they do, that they're used to it. But the average person trying to convince them to invest in a story that people don't know about, completely different things. So having them available on something like
Elapsed of some
Global Comics is super beneficial for that, because you'll get people to be like, well, I have a subscription, it doesn't cost me anything, let me just taste this indie comic that's over here,
right? And that's what I probably might do, just because I haven't, you know, I'm a DC person. I always have been. I dabble a little bit in Marvel, but it's mostly older stuff with Marvel. But I mean, I spend way too much money on comic books, like it's ridiculous.
No, I got
even when he doesn't like them.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of indie, right now I've been trying to plan a show. Me and my buddy Everly, we will review comics from time to time. Indie artist Phil Diaz, buddy of the channel. He's got Magic Cop as one of the comics he's got out, and me and Everly just finished Magic Cop 2. Really good series, so we were gonna review that. Like I really like Magic Cop 1. It's like it's the right type of humor for me.
Studiante.
Hey. So yeah, it's Miami Vice but with magic cops. it's fantastic.
Don Johnson magic. I'm sold.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous. Like the main character is the magic cop, and he has a suit jacket, but then like the sleeves of it are wizard sleeves. It's hey,
there we go.
That's
Look at that.
That's just two of the same guy.
I know. Same picture.
That's crazy.
Besides that, you know, me and Emily, we also review a lot of the Rippaverse stuff. And what did we just read? I recently read Great War Separation, and very recently just finished Horseman 2. Or no, just Horseman 1. It's the second comic book. It's Horseman 1. The Chuck Dixon comics in the Rippaverse, fantastic. And Horseman,
that's what I've been told.
After reading Horseman #1, I'm like really sold on Horseman. Like this character.
I remember I was there for the announcement, but I never read it.
It's I think it's more of the Punisher stories Marvel wouldn't let him tell, and he's like, yeah, I'll do Horseman with that.
It's the Punisher meets Captain America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Like I can't wait to review this one, because this was like the concept and the potential where the story is going to go. I'm like freaking sold.
I finished that one 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I was really into it. Great War of Separation has been really good too.
Great War Separation was great too. It's a much more fast paced, and it's also a lot more like it's a whole war, so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, well,
so it's not as personable.
It's a war that's also kind of Chuck Dixon world building for Eric July's universe. Like, you know,
which is probably smart to get someone like Dixon to do. That's very smart. 100%.
Well, it's also something you don't want to start with too, because you know you need that one person.
Right. At this point, if you're doing it on your own, yeah.
The main character at the Great War Separation is Brian Solari, which is one of the characters that pops up in like almost all the comics. Right, like personality wise, favorite character in the Rippaverse. Dude is awesome. It was great. He's been great in Great War Separation. So again, can't wait to review that one. We're really behind on our reviews. And I mentioned earlier before reading the new Teen Titans, which man, I'm like kind of really excited to talk about that, because a lot of the like dynamics.
The Wolfman era New Teen Titans.
Yeah, Wolfman Perez. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like really old comic, but like
damn, I feel old as shit.
It's not that old. It's 1980.
Really old comic, right from your youth.
Hey, I didn't make the joke. You made the joke on yourself last.
Well, Bronze Age, right?
Yeah.
Look, I've been reading like a lot of indie, right? So
no, it's okay. I've been.
All right, kid woke up. I'll try to be back.
I hear it.
Yeah. So a lot of things to talk about that. Besides that, and the Tome of the Reckoning finished that recently. It's by a guy named Dio. Great book. All right, later, guys.
I'll let you know. I'm going to talk about.
But
I'll
if
talk
you
about
guys,
what
if you guys need
I'm reading.
the new Teen Titans, I have my own scans of that. If you need one.
Nice. It's on Global Comics, but I'll keep that in mind. Also, just sent you a code for Global Comics. There's also this really cool book called Phenomenova on Global Comics.
Well, if you want me, I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it.
I mean, I was going to send you issue 1. I've got 2 copies of issue 1.
I would say that I don't mind. Like, dude, like I
actually have issue 1.
Like,
and
I
2
really don't mind.
All right, well, I'll send you the free code on Global Comics
Put it
anyway.
this way, dude. I probably spent like over 30,000 this month on shoes.
He has an addiction, Vaughn. We'll have to talk about that on another.
30,000 this month.
Yeah, I trade in like high end Jordans. You see my collection. It's ridiculous.
Oh, you sold? I thought you were saying...
No. I spent.
Wow.
Me personally. But that's like, that's like...
Why would you need those, though?
That's like 3 weeks.
He's
of
a
work.
Jordan's
trader. He's secretly... He's so one thing that nobody knows about Laps...
Come in my house and tell me there's not enough space.
You don't want him coming in your house.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm saying it like that, then obviously not. Yeah. But like walk into my house.
I was just gonna say that like whenever Lapsed and MSK are on the same show, Lapsed is actually the blackest person on the stream. I just want everybody to know that.
Which is sad. Which is very sad.
Yes. Let's see. I'll jump on to what I am reading this month. It's almost not necessarily the same thing every month, but what have I been getting into? So I've been reading King of Spies, which I'm halfway through. That's kind of what I'm into now. My wife actually wants to read this, which is weird, so I'm going to try to finish that up so she can get her hands on it. I told her it was going to be, there would maybe a movie coming up with older Pierce Brosnan as a, it's kind of like Sean Connery's The Rock is kind of what I see. If everything is true that they say about him being in the movie, it's going to be kind of like not a Bond movie, but it is a Bond. It's like his farewell to Bond, like The Rock was Connery's farewell to Bond. In that kind of sense, that's kind of, I think that's how other people are selling it for Millar, but I think he likes that other people are trying to sell it that way for him. So, interesting story there for sure. What else have I've had a pile of stuff I've been digging into. I've been reading a shit ton this month.
So, Laps, what would be your best underappreciated omnibus that you have?
Oh, out of the ones that are just here?
Yeah.
Or out of the ones I own that are just here?
I don't know.
Underappreciated. Oh man, I don't know. Probably like Doom 2099, because I think Doom 2099 is actually a fantastic story. Out of the 2099s, like that, a lot of people didn't care. The Doom one I thought was actually great.
Oh, Doom.
Doom, yeah, Dr. Doom.
So let's see here. There's the rest of it. So. One thing I'm always reading a ton of Conan. I got this. This is the Savage
How was
Sword
that?
Reforged. This is good. Dude, look at the colors on this. So they took let's see. This is Barry Smith. This is all of Robert E. Howard's old stories, basically. And they did a good job of bringing modern color into it. Like it looks fantastic. Now the stories. Very good. I mean, obviously, this is Robert E. Howard's OG Savage Sword of Conan. They're just Titan is going back, doing remastered colors. They all look really good. You know, the art is obviously fantastic and iconic and classic. Really good stuff going on in there. And then let's see. So this one, the new Savage Sword of Conan stories. This one was Sharp and Mars. Yeah, Ron Mars had a backup story in the back about a pirate, which was kind of cool. Like the anthology magazines that Titan Comics is putting out. Well worth the while.
Yeah, I've heard they're good.
Dude, they're real. It is very good.
Everything you've showed me looks great.
Yeah, I've heard that the Titan Comics Conan is great. Again,
like,
just so much
the
stuff I
black and
haven't
white.
gotten to.
Like the art is
awesome.
The art is like this issue. They have different artists. I mean, it's an anthology, an honest anthology book.
So there's just constantly like, and it's this great black and white. It's on newsprint, so it looks, it feels, it reads fantastic. Like I treat it like a real magazine. I fold it over, I'm reading it. The stories are good. It's
What is that
I
again?
can't say, huh?
What is it again?
Savage Sword of Conan
Oh, okay.
by Titan. Like, in your vein of your ultra manly wandering, barbarian type stuff that you want now. It's but yeah, like this issue, they stepped it up for the art. The art has been fantastic. I've been reading the actual just regular Conan the Barbarian title, which is their normal format size comic that they've been putting out. The last issue was the first of them doing some King Conan era, which I'm least familiar with in Conan. That was fantastic. That was, I really hope they're going to stick with that more because I didn't read a lot of it. Another thing last thing I have to read from this week's polls, which I think they're only doing quarterly, Planet Death. This was Robert Venditti, I think, in his own indie comic kind of company that he dropped. I believe he was a writer on John Wick or something, but like this has been fantastic.
That looks cool
like
as hell too.
Yeah, the art is really good. They're basically space marines or something of the sort. They're outer space soldiers sent off into space to kill aliens on their planet. Hordes of them showed up. This lone soldier's entire like giant armada that showed up basically got blown to shit, and he's stranded on a planet, trying to survive. So if you like your Warhammer kind of space marine stuff, it's got that kind of vibe. It's not exactly that, but like. The art in it, very good. Story's interesting, fast-paced, exciting. I wish he was putting it out monthly. This is the second issue. I think the first issue came out back in July, I think. Like it's interesting enough that I'm actually interested to pick this one up here. This is the next book he's dropping under his title called Ordained. Seems interesting. Apparently, he's already got movie rights sold to it, but he's a Hollywood writer, so. But interesting, nothing, and it's just, it's huge, giant men just murdering aliens everywhere. So, Xeno's bad.
Ultra xenophobe, huh?
Yes, in that exactly quite that in
Not
that
as
vein,
good.
but
Not as intense.
not the kind of in the vein of that kind of thing. So if you're into huge hulking space marine type dudes killing aliens en masse. That's the vibe I got from the first book. Lots of testosterone, yes. It's a very
not as much as the ultra xenophobe though, sadly.
No,
yeah,
not as much.
No.
Yes, it's hard to have quite that much testosterone unless you're reading Conan or something where at least once an issue he's taking women as his own or something of the sort, I suppose you could say. And I'm surprised. Even in the modern stuff, you think some of these guys, some of these writers, Jim Zub is the main guy writing it, but other writers come in that you wouldn't necessarily think are going to do it, but they will.
Whoa!
Like they don't hold back on the testosterone or the womanizing. It's one thing I love about Titan Comics. Like they're capturing Conan as he was, and they're not giving us modern Conan. Well, he's the refined savage. No, he's still pretty brutal, and he's getting drunk and grabbing women in a bar and taking them to his bed and everything else. And like, it's classic Conan shit. I'm impressed.
I've never read any Conan, and I know I need to.
You absolutely should. I would go to Amazon and pick up Titan's first trade of it. I haven't even done that yet. That's another thing on the short list is the first trade from Titan.
It's too much, and I just need to take time to read more.
I know, dude. Conan, I think they're only 25 issues in on the Titan run. You'd be fine with it. Like, go pick up the first trade. It's like $15 on Amazon. You get a couple of the trades, you'll be caught up in no time. And they're not overly dense. You're not reading a novel. It's written like a fast-paced action comic. You're getting a good story, good characterization, world building for the era. It's weird. It's every Conan story, every arc they do is pretty self-contained in his lore. Like the next time like the King Conan, he just got done dealing with the Serpent and what is it, Amun Thoth, and then they cut over to King Conan. They're like, no, they're running it like they're popping in and out of different eras of Conan or different times that he's in. So nothing cool. There's nothing that you're going to be like so tied down that you can't go grab an issue and be like, okay, I've got to get like the last 2 or 3 issues.
Gotcha.
Then I'm where I need to be. Or that you can't just pick up a trade.
and get the whole story they're saying. There isn't anything that like it's so, there aren't 25 issues of continuous one arc or era or area of the Conan time. And I think that's kind of the way like even a lot of the books were written. Like they were always kind of just moving around. They'd have an arc of a story they'd want to tell, and sometimes he'd be in, up in the Viking world in the Norse, dealing with the Norse gods, or he'd be in different parts of the world. He'd be in sub-Saharan Africa fighting, Zulu shape changers. Like that's kind of the cool thing about the characters. Like they move him all over the place and have him deal with all kinds of different characters, cultures, magics, gods, whatever. And they just tell a good story out of it and they move on to another thing. But that's the main character that I'm most into right now, and what I'm reading a ton of is Conan.
Yeah. No, I think we're at the point. We went over a little over an hour and a half. So
yeah,
we're trying to
the Battle Beast. I would say that's a great read. Battle Beast. We're on hiatus, and the Long Halloween, the last Halloween, that's good too.
Is it good?
In terms of indie stuff, I wish there was more monthly that I was grabbing, but I will say, Band of the Crow, love that one.
Oh, absolutely, Band of the Crow.
Adored Band of the Crow. I would say V. Ken Marion's Soul Striker. I got to talk to the writer too at New York Comic Con. Great book. I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with that's the tough part, is when I'm friends with a lot of creators. It's like, I met
the artist, right?
You met V at Heroes Con.
Yeah.
V's great. Or I guess they were co-writers together. Those are my two recent favorites. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. But solid stuff. There's some really solid stuff in the indie scene. Dave Brink's Perfect 10, Genuine Comics, that is my number one still series. Although Soul Striker I see as having potential getting up there. Same with Band of the Crow.
I remember Soul Striker. I missed that.
I may or may not be getting him to do an issue 4 cover. He's a fan of Phenomenova.
Oh,
he was going to do an issue 3 cover, but he couldn't. The deadline didn't work out. But it was fine because he was like, I want to draw your main character. I'm like, here's the problem. Main character is barely in issue 3. So he's going to be making his return in issue 4. So I'm glad the deadline didn't work out. So because I got a Narwhal cover instead.
I remember the art on Soul Striker was
his art is unbelievable.
I really wish I would have been able to back that one. Like I can't believe the mainstream hasn't picked him up to do something.
He has. He's doing Green Lantern, dude. He's been doing DC books. Right, he's doing Green Lantern, yeah.
I thought
that's where I read some of his stuff on the show. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we should call it here.
All right.
Keep this show a little bit concise. Like you said,
I think we were pretty concise tonight.
Yeah.
I think we.
Yeah. No, I think we did.
We rambled
For the extreme lack of planning, even though we'd weeks in advance, we're like, we'll do it this day, and then silence. We're also busy.
Like we said, this is the least committal comic book stream in the game of comic book streaming. We're gonna.
Yeah, it's a hangout, and it's not that serious, but it's But we're gonna try to keep it entertaining. So, if whoever's out there, like, share.
Yeah.
Stop on by.
See you guys next time. Peace out. And if you guys haven't already, check out, we got the 20% off sale on my website. So see you guys, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.
We call ourselves Phenomenova. Yesterday, the Stormbearers, a deadly group of mercenaries, took control of a nuclear reactor. Before we arrived on the scene, Galvanite, a superpowered teenage boy, attempted to stop them. He failed. His story ended there that day. Ours began shortly after. Today, I sift through the memories of that day. I will put the pieces together, and we will bring those responsible to justice.